Hey everybody, I bought a 2006 Toyota Sequoia. Body's in pretty good shape. Tires could use redid. Actually, body's in excellent shape and the paint is really nice. Reason I'm making this video is I bought it with 308,000 miles on it, and I'm going to let you know why. Let me get in here and get seated up. Get the camera set up. Alright, I bought this car because A, the price, and B, the condition, and it had a Carfax on it. Let me confirm the mileage for you guys here. Get my seatbelt on. I'm going to drive while we talk. There we go. Let me quit shaking here a little bit, zoom this thing in. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully that's coming up. Let me try and turn that brightness down a little bit on that. There we go. 308,000 miles with 808. I put the last 800 on it myself, I think. So here's why I bought it. I ran a Carfax, and it came up clean. One owner, clean title, no accidents. Dealer service records for its entire life at a Toyota dealership, obviously. Up until the month I bought it. The last dealer service was the month, actually maybe 2 weeks before I bought it. Let me say bye to Jack Dog. See you later, Jack Dog. Be back in a little bit, buddy. Anyhow, it was impeccably serviced. It was kept in a garage, driven by the guy's wife, who was a real estate agent. I did a bunch of videos. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. Hard to do this while I'm driving. A whole bunch of YouTube videos on buying a high mileage used car. There's a YouTube person out there, goes by Your Car Angel, who does excellent videos. I recommend you check him out. Taught me what to look for, how to test drive it. The chassis, suspension, ball joints upper and lower, control arms, tie rods, all that crap had been replaced. Hell, even the steering rack. It's had a water pump in it. It's on the original alternator, spark plugs, all that crap. So I wasn't too afraid of it. I drove 2 hours away, which is halfway to where the guy lived. He met me halfway, which was nice, and listened to it, test drove it, seemed fine. Before that, I got a chance to listen to, I wanted to drive it, but if you don't know the people, don't work out. 2000 and, I think it was a 17 Sequoia with, very, very little miles on it. So I knew what it should sound like. The engine sounded right. Concerns with a vehicle like this. Like I said, the tires are getting thin. I'm going to have to replace them before winter. It's August now. Fluids. Major concern. Transmission fluid on this thing is supposedly a sealed unit with lifetime fluid. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Life of the transmission, they say. Well, the transmission's life is not going to be very long if you never change your fluid, right? That was a bit of a process. Easy to drain, relatively easy to fill, a little tougher. You got to work between the exhaust manifold, or the exhaust pipe, and the tranny, which is pretty tight. The hard part is getting the fill level correct. It's got an overflow tube, which makes it seem easy, but the fluid has to be at exactly the right temperature, and to do that I had to buy a scan tool that measures real-time transmission fluid temperature, and it doesn't come doing that. You got to set up these X codes on it, and then you have to program another code into that matches your vehicle, and that took some doing, but it happened. That stuff looked dirty. It wasn't black, but it was dark brown with a hint of red, and it should be red. Next I did the rear differential. I needed a torch and an impact to get that thing off. That sucker was really on there. I expected that fluid to be really old and in really bad shape, judging by how hard the fill plug and the drain plug came off, but amazingly that stuff came out nice, goldenish even, almost new. which makes me wonder if the center differential, or the transfer case rather, which is what I was going to do next, and the front diff are just as good. I don't know, I'm not going to roll the dice on it. I imagine they were all changed at the same time. Wouldn't make much sense to do it otherwise, but you never know. So I'm going to change those next. The rear diff gets used all the time, and the front not very much around here, I suspect, and transfer case the same. So I did the rear diff because it gets used all the time, and also because people tend to get the weight wrong. A lot of people, you check on YouTube, they'll tell you to put 75/90 in, just like the transfer case and the front diff. But the owner's manual and a couple of Toyota sites I found call for what is it, 75/140 or 90/140, whichever. And I wanted to have the right stuff in there. The drain plug's got a magnet built into it, and I've seen some videos where that's covered with, you know, really fine, like a metallic powder, sometimes as big as a marble. And I didn't know what to expect on mine. When I took it out, it had just the itty bitty tiniest. I mean, there's not even a raise to it. It was just flat. So I was really happy with what I saw as far as metal filings in the rear diff fluid. Battery has been replaced recently. So far, so good. Everything's fine. Still makes me a little nervous. I've had it for a few weeks now. I've been driving it every day to work, and so far, so good. No surprises. When I did a scan with the scan tool, there were no codes and no pending codes. Also, part of my service was these have a fly-by-wire throttle body that when it gets gummed up, it tends to give you weird throttle response issues. So I went ahead and cleaned the throttle body, and I also pulled out the mass air sensor and cleaned the heck out of that. They were both pretty dirty. Ran some fuel injector through it. Gonna do that a few more times. And change the engine oil. He just had that done, but you know, crappy ass oil they use at dealerships or oil change joints don't make me too happy. So I'm gonna throw in my usual Mobil 1. Had good luck with that. Never thrown an engine away that I used that in. Always wore the rest of the car out first. Boy, it's getting windy. I got Jackdog out, and it looks like it's gonna storm. That dog is deathly afraid of thunderstorms, so I feel a little bad about it. But I'm heading over to my buddy Jason's. You see him in my other drone videos and whatnot. We're gonna have us some breakfast in the form of Bloody Mary, which is delicious. Only gonna have one because I'm driving. Anyway, that's why I bought a 2006 Toyota Tundra with 308,000 miles. Any questions? List them down below and I'll get back to you. Thanks.